As we near the end of the NBA season, the MVP rankings have gotten pretty much set between 3 to 4 players. And the guys that look like they're going to be the main candidates are obviously SGA leading OKC to the best record in the league once again and going for his second consecutive MVP. Meanwhile, in San Antonio, we got the birth of an all time great upon us with Victor Wembanyama putting himself firmly in the discussion, leading the Spurs to their first 50 plus win season since 2017 and being already one of the best defenders to ever put on a basketball jersey. As for the back half of this race, I personally think it's between Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic, as they both have had great seasons, with Jokic averaging a triple double, and Luka really playing his best ball since 2024 in this stretch with the Lakers, leading them to the third spot in the Western Conference so far. And not to mention, because I forgot to mention his name, but Cade Cunningham was also in this conversation as well before he got hurt. And it's unfortunate because he probably would have been top four if it wasn't for him going down. And yeah, it's crazy how things change so quick because now nobody even talks about him. Meanwhile, he's barely been out for that long. But I guess that's just how it goes. But shout out to Cade because he also had a great season as well. Unfortunately, though, for the guys that I just talked about, I think this is a two-guy race, a two-player race, if you will. I believe this race is in all likelihood going to come down to Shea Gilgis Alexander and Victor Wembanyama just because of like the whole team success standpoint combined with the numbers. And in the case of SGA, let's just talk about him because he is once again having an all-time great guard season, averaging 31 points per game on his most efficient season of his career. And OKC, like I mentioned before, has the best record in the league yet again at 59-16. They're going to have another 60 plus win season, and they're the favorites to win it all for a back to back seasons. At this point, he's like hands down Mr. Consistent in the league. He gets the job done on most nights. He is easily the engine of OKC's offensive success, especially this season with his co star, Jalen Williams, who was a huge offensive piece last season, and he still is when he's healthy. He's missed a bunch of games this season. He's just coming back from like being injured for a second time, and he's played like about a few games now under his belt. But he hasn't been playing for a majority of the year, and this is a guy that's a 20 point per game scorer that's an all star caliber talent. And SGA still has this team not even really missing a beat. He is that great. He also provides two-way ability, being part of the reason that OKC's defense is so hard to score on because of the fact that he's not your usual, oh, I'm an offensive bucket getter, but I'm a target on the defensive end. Teams don't target him that easily. They're not going to get after him. They're not just going to relentlessly go at him every possession like they do with some of these other, teams' top best players, like, for example, maybe a Jalen Brunson type or those type of guys where they're going to go after him. Even though they're averaging 29 points per game, defensively, there's not much they can do. Shea Gilgis Alexander holds his own really well, and he is not a negative on that side of the floor, in my opinion. Now, in the case of Victor Wembanyama, right now, I think he's got a bit of the narrative feels right now, especially after he had that whole that press game, conference where this man, he kind of went out there and like campaigned for why he feels he should win the award. And he gave all valid reasons, by the way. I had no problem with him, saying what he had to say. It was fine. As for the basketball reasons, SGA is the engine for OKC's offense, but Wembanyama is hands down the engine of San Antonio's elite defense. He is the reason why these guys can play aggressive defense at the point of attack. Because hey, look, if you beat him and you get blown by him, you got Victor Wembanyama waiting right at the rim, and he is going to either change your shot, change your decision making, or you're going to get swatted. One of those three are going to happen. He is already one of the biggest impact defenders in league history, and he's what, 22 years old, if I'm not mistaken. This man is literally so young, and he's already one of the elite defenders we've ever seen. You have to be aware of where he's at on the floor at all times. He just completely changes a team's like entire shot diet because of his presence around the rim. Offensively speaking is where I think some of these like MVP talks kind of die down for me. He's a very talented player, and he does things that are amazing for a 7'5" plus whatever he is human being. But he's not like one of those like at will offensive players yet, in my opinion, like an SGA, like a Jokic, like a Luka, or even some of these like lower tier superstars like a Brunson or an Ant. He's not on their level offensively. Not yet, at least. He's averaging 24 points per game in 29 minutes. I know the per 36 numbers have him at like 28, 29 points per game. But the efficiency just isn't at like a crazy level for what you would think it should be. Like 7'5" man, you would expect him to be shooting like 55+% from the field. And yeah, the 3 pointers, you don't expect him to be elite. He kind of is what he is. He's not bad. He's like solid from three. And from the line, he's pretty good for a big. But like, it's not what you would think it'd be, right? It's solid, it's cool, but it's not where it's at. It's not where SGA's at. There you go. That's the perfect way to say it. I personally would give SGA his second MVP in a row. I think he's just a little more deserving right now, and he's just in the middle of like a historical run from an individual player standpoint. Obviously, I'm a huge Wemby fan, so San Antonio fans, don't attack me. Look, I love Wembanyama. I think he's great. I think he's great, and I think he's going to be even greater as the time goes on. But I don't think this is the season to give him his first MVP. Not yet. He's great. He has a legit chance to be a true top 10 talent to ever play the sport, but SGA is slightly beating him out for the award this year, and he's just a better player right now. Currently speaking, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is probably, you could say, either the best player in the world or the second best player in the world, bare minimum. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay to admit that, look, Wembanyama's one of the top 5 players in the league, but he's not on SGA's level yet. SGA's peak right now is one of the greatest guards this sport has ever seen. I'm talking about, MJ, Kobe, Harden in those like 2019, 2018, 2017 seasons. Like, he's on that type of level right now. And it's hard to knock a guy off and say, hey, look, you can't get a second MVP. Meanwhile, he's averaging 30 on crazy efficiency and his team's the best in the league. And there's a really good likelihood he's going to win a second championship in a row as well. It's hard to deny what he's doing. And yeah, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think for me, would get my vote if I had one for most valuable player. And I just, everybody's been talking about this whole MVP award, especially after Wembanyama had that press conference. It really became like, crazy. You look and you see on Twitter, like NBA put out their MVP tracker tweet that they always do, I think every week or whatever. And Wembanyama was number one. And it was like funny. It was like, yeah, this guy really campaigned himself as the number one candidate. And it took for Wembanyama to say that defense matters for now the league to be like, oh yeah, defense matters. Not a knock on Wembanyama because it always mattered. But it's just funny how things work. And yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. I think you got SGA 1, you got Wembanyama 2. It's amazing what he's done for the Spurs at such a short time already. This man already has them at like a 60-win team, basically, because that's where they're going to finish most likely. And it's amazing because, a couple years ago when he was a rookie, the team was shitty, but you could see the direction. And now they're there already. They're already a true contender to make the finals. And he's only in what, year 3, if I'm not mistaken. So amazing start to his career. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander right now is, I think, in my opinion, the best player in the sport. There you go. I'll say it. Just my opinion. Anyways, that's going to do it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been The Checkup, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.